Is closing doors in 1 minute. Ticket confirmed passengers must be on board at this time at a gate. Hi, I'm Nicole, and today I'm going to be sharing my story. I was born in North Carolina to my mom, Victoria, and my dad, Patrick. My mom was a barber. Actually, she had her own barber shop, always making friends with everybody. She loved animals. We had lots and lots of animals. She was just one of the kindest people I think you really ever could meet, honestly. So my family, there was my grandma Gloria, my grandpa Dennis, my uncle Dennis, but we called him James, so my uncle James, my uncle Chuck, my aunt Randy, and me and my mom and my dad.
Living on the same street?
On the same street, yeah. Chuck and Randy had their own house, and then my grandma and grandpa and James lived in a house, and then me, my mom, and my dad lived in a house. And almost every day, like, everybody would just come down and, like, meet at our house. We'd have lunch, have dinner, like, just spend all day together. Me and my cousin Joseph, we were like best friends. I remember like we'd spend all day like outside, like all the time. Like my mom would be out there with like the ducks and the animals, like the dogs. We had so many animals. She'd just always be out there messing with them and taking care of them, like doing something outside. Growing up with that much family, it was really nice. Always having something to do, always having somewhere to go. Like if my dad made me mad, oh well, I'm going to grandma's. Like I'm going to my auntie's. They'll take me to the beach if you'll say no. Like somebody will say yes. I remember one time we were all at our house. We only had one air conditioner and it was in my room since I was the littlest. So one time we all went into my room because it was so hot in there. And I ended up locking everybody in there and locking myself out of the room. So they had to figure out how to get the door handle off without being able to open the door. They didn't do it. They ended up having to pull the AC in through the inside and crawl out the window and go through the front door. And I remember one time, like, my dad was at work and my mom and my uncle were like, all right, like, we're gonna do this. Like, we're gonna get a bunch of water balloons and then, like, fill a couple with flour. Like, we're gonna throw, like, the water balloons first and then the ones with flour. That made a really big mess, but let me tell you, it was pretty funny. A lot of stuff like that. Just what you'd expect a big old family living together would be like. It was the most family I'd ever felt still to this day was that we were all together and felt like nothing could break that in that moment. On July 11th, 2007, I woke up and it was just normally like any other day. My grandma was older. We had set days that we would take her grocery shopping because she didn't drive. That was one of those set days. So that morning I woke up and I don't know, went to play. I was only 4, so I was just playing around while everybody else was getting ready. My mom and my grandma and we were gonna go shopping and my dad was gonna go to work and my uncle was gonna stay home. I remember playing in the living room and as my dad was getting ready, my uncle started laughing like he was thinking something to himself. He was sitting in the chair in the corner of the room and my dad asked him what he thought was funny and he said he would see later. My dad just thought it was a prank because like they played pranks on each other a lot, but that was far from it. We went to the store, got groceries. My mom let me pick out a toy. I remember getting this purple plastic Dora backpack. My grandma was one of our neighbors, so when we got home, we went and dropped her off at her house, brought in her groceries, and then went home. Started putting away our groceries, and I had my mind set on that backpack. I wanted that thing open immediately. So my mom was putting something away in the bathroom and I remember walking in there to have her open it for me. And I asked her, like, can you open this for me? And she was like, just a minute, babe, like, I'm busy. And I was like, okay, I love you. And she said she loved me too. And then I turned around to go back out to the living room and my uncle was standing right there in the door of the bathroom with a .22 shotgun and shot my mom. It was fast, if anything really terrifying, but after that, he just grabbed my arm, pulled me out of the bathroom, told me we were gonna go swimming. He put me in my swimsuit and took me out to the pool in the front yard. He played with me in the pool for about 2.5 hours before my grandma came over because she was done with whatever she was doing. I remember her walking up into the front yard and being like, "Where's Victoria? What's she doing?" And me being like, "Oh, I'll bring you to her. Come on, grandma." And like I grabbed my grandma's hand and like she followed me inside. And I remember walking back into the bathroom and being like, "Look, my mommy's dead." And my grandma like screamed. I don't think I've ever heard a scream like that. My grandma went to take me back outside. We got to the hallway. He was there waiting again with the shotgun. He shot her, my grandma, in the shoulder. It went straight through, right about here. She's fine. She lived. She took me outside. I remember she would not look away from him. She was walking backwards to try to keep her eyes on him at all time. As soon as we got outside, I remember very vividly running to the neighbor's house, like sprinting to the neighbor's house, because the little girl there was one of my best friends at that point. When I got over there, I remember I didn't even knock. I just ran right in, ran right past everybody in the living room and hid under her bed. I remember to my right, there was an easy bake oven, and to my left, there was a little tub of Barbies that we would play with. I don't even know how long it was later. My dad was called and he got there. My dad came and got me, and I remember walking back over there. I don't think I've ever still seen so many like police cars, ambulances, and there was even a helicopter. Like it was a lot. There was a lot of people there. When I was like old enough to go back and reread all of like the police reports and everything, I learned that when the police first got there, they stopped my uncle and asked him who he was, because him and my grandpa have the same name, and he lied to them. He told him that he was my grandpa and that my uncle went the complete opposite way. So one of the cops stayed there with him because he matched the description. The other one went to look where he said my uncle had gone, even though he was right there in front of them. He ended up being not guilty by insanity. That in itself kind of hurt. He definitely was kind of crazy, but it hurts to like know that he never saw any real jail time for it at all. He went to the mental institution. In the police report, it said that right before he shot her, my grandma told her that he loved her. I do remember the way he didn't look like himself like he normally did. He looked like a complete separate person, and my grandma also did mention that in the police report too. She said that he did not look like himself at all. His eyes were like not normal. He just was not himself in that moment. I really believe it was a drug and religious induced psychosis. What we got told he had said after everything was that he did it because God told him to kill everybody that he had done wrong. And looking back on it, there's no way that that wasn't at least just religious psychosis. We know he was using some drugs too, so it could have very well played a part. When I got a little older, my dad and I like fully talked about the situation and like everything that happened, and he told me like how he got told. He was working at a car dealership at this point. He was working, one of his coworkers came up and was like, "Patrick, like you need to leave like right now, like something happened to Miss Vicky, like you need to leave." And my dad was just like, "Oh, she probably just like fell and broke her arm or did something working with the animals and like needs to go to the hospital." Nobody told him anything other than something happened to Miss Vicky, so he didn't really know what to expect or what he was coming home to. And I think what he came home to was the last thing that he ever thought it would be. He always kept his perspective of what happened after he got there secretive, kind of. I don't really know why. I just think my dad has kind of trouble talking about that day because he lost his best friend that day. He lost his wife that day. Like, I just don't think it's the easiest for him to talk about, especially with me. So I don't really know like my dad's perspective of that day, but I can only imagine it's a little or about the same as heartbreaking. I mean, he wasn't there, but he lost half of his world that day. I don't ever remember there being a trial at all. He was just immediately not guilty by insanity. Me and my dad left pretty immediately after that to Washington. I think my dad, if there were going to be something like that, I'm pretty sure my dad would have stuck around for that and not just left. You know what I mean? I don't think my dad would just not fight if something were going to trial like that. Pretty much immediately after that, packed up everything we could and drove to Washington from North Carolina. That was long. I remember a couple days of that trip, but not a lot of it. I do remember stopping and picking up my other grandparents in Kentucky and him driving up here with us, but other than that, I don't remember much about the trip here. Gave up everything, like pretty much his whole life, quit his job, didn't even put in a 2-week notice, and just start packing everything up. I don't think I could have asked for a better dad. He is the best dad and mom I could have ever asked for, ever. I don't think I could put into words how much my dad has done for me. In the summer of 2023, we got a letter saying that he was possibly going to be getting released. And at this point, my relationship with my grandparents was really good, actually. We were always talking. They wanted to know how my son was doing. We were really close. I mean, there was a few times that they would promise certain things. Like they would say, oh yeah, like we bought plane tickets, we're gonna come see you. And then they'd ghost me, not say anything until like weeks after they were supposed to come. I got used to like their promises always ending up empty, but our relationship was still good. Like I just knew I couldn't trust them saying like, oh, we're gonna do this, like we're gonna come see you. I couldn't trust that, but I knew I still had them and I knew there was still lots of love. I feel like I just reminded them too much of my mom. I feel like them seeing me would like break them, honestly. I think that's why they never came. I think that they just knew like, wow, like that's literally the last piece of her we have. Like, do we really want to see that? Do we really want to like be reminded of that? Do we really want to like have to leave her again? That's how I see it, at least. I genuinely think that's why they didn't come.
At 4 years old, that was the last time that you ever seen your grandparents?
Yeah. I was 4 the last time I saw them. We've gone to North Carolina multiple times since then. Every time we went down there, we'd tell them like, look, we're here, like I want to see you. I remember the last time they lied to me. They told me they were out of town. They said they weren't there. We drove past the house, they were there. I don't know why they lied. We were there. They didn't have to go anywhere. We would have came to them. I don't know why they did that, but they did. And I think that really hurt because like at first I believed them. Like I was like, they're just out of town. I know they want to see me if I was here. And my dad was like, look, I know they're lying to you. Let's go find out for ourselves. And we did. They were home. They just didn't want to see us and we don't know why. That was in like 2016, 2017-ish. That was the last time we've been out there too. I don't think I want to go back out there and even try again because every time it doesn't work.
But you guys would like still FaceTime? You would FaceTime with your grandma? Right?
Yeah. We would talk all the time. We'd FaceTime, we'd text, we'd everything. But when it came down to it, when we were there, they didn't answer. They just lied and said, no, we're out of town. Sorry, like, we wish we could be there. It was August of 2023. We got told that he had a chance at being let out. Me and my dad and I, we decided to go on the news to try to stop it, to see if there was anything we could do, like try to petition to keep him in there. Right after that got released, we did some digging of our own to see like what the potential release date was, just to be ready for it. And we found out that they had let him out a year prior to that in 2022, and nobody told us until August of 2023. My dad called the original attorney that we used to be like, look, why didn't you call us? Why didn't you tell us? He didn't know either. He had not heard anything about any hearings, so that was pretty rough. You could quite literally go anywhere within a year. Where the heck are they? Like, they couldn't tell us if they were still in North Carolina. They couldn't tell us if they'd left. They said they couldn't tell us anything other than, yeah, he's been out for a year. Still to this day, I have no idea where they are. Nothing. I forgot to mention, after he got out, we went on the news a second time just to be like, look, this is a follow-up, like, this is what happened. We tried keeping him in. He would already let out a year before that. Right after the first time I went on the news, my grandparents saw that. Obviously, they live in North Carolina still. It was on North Carolina news. They saw that, and they blocked me on everything. Blocked my phone number, blocked me on Facebook. I haven't talked to them since before that. My Aunt Randy, I still do talk to her. Her and my uncle Chuck got divorced, so I still do talk to her. Very grateful to have at least somebody from that part of the family still. But everybody else, I haven't talked to them in years. All I wanted from them was to feel like I still was important to them, but every time they just show me over and over again I'm not. I thought of writing them a letter. I just decided not to because, like I said, they've shown me over and over again I'm not. What's a letter gonna show? I just decided not to send it because it's for the best. That where we left it off is where it stays. All I wanted was a little bit of my mom's family left, like something, like somebody to remind me who she was as I get older and forget, because I know like I'm not gonna remember this stuff forever. All I wanted was to know like more about my mom. Everybody that could other than my dad and my aunt won't talk to me, so now like I only have the 2 people to remember her by, which kinda sucks, but you know, that's my dad and my aunt, 2 of my mom's best friends, so I mean, at least I have good memories. Before he even got out, they told us that, yeah, like, when he gets out, he's gonna be coming and staying with us. Like, he's gonna move back in with us. Like, I've forgiven him. I've forgiven everything he's done. Like, I don't think he'll hurt us again. Like, all of that stuff. And they let him move back in. So I think that when they saw that I was trying to keep him in because we didn't know that he was already out, I think they got mad at me for that. I mean, I forgave him in a way, but I can't forget what he did. I can forgive but not forget. I'm not mad that they moved him back in. I just wish they would have told me, you know what I mean? Like, I wish they would have told me that, yeah, he's out. You don't have to worry, and not just not say anything and let us figure it out for ourselves, because that's what they did. Just basic respect. Even if they would have said like, yeah, he's living with us, I would have been a little bit mad, obviously, but like, okay, like, that's fine. Like, that's what you guys are choosing to do. That's what you're choosing to do, not just not tell me at all. Before he would have got out, like, if they would have said something, I would have been like, that's it. He did his time or whatever, I guess. I mean, he didn't really technically go to jail, but he did do some sort of time. It's not even like justice of the situation anymore at this point. I think it's justice of how, even if they would have just said like, yeah, he's out, like that would have been different than just nobody say anything at all. The state didn't say anything. My own family didn't say anything. Nobody knows where he is right now. Probably North Carolina, because I don't know if they'd even have the money or the means to move since they're all getting older, but I'm assuming that's where they are. But like I said, you could literally go anywhere within a year. Who knows?
Do you think he got better mentally? Do you think he should be out?
Part of me hopes he really is doing better and deserves to be out. Part of me hopes he's changed and that he's not that person anymore, because like I said before that day, he was not that person either. He was never that person until that day. So I'm really hoping that he did change. I really, really, really hope so. But deep down, a part of me feels like if you could do something like that, it could happen again. It could go either which way, honestly. But I really hope it goes the better way. I have a almost 4-year-old son. Oh my god, he literally saved my life. I'm not even kidding. Before I had him, I was drinking all day, every day. When I was younger, I was like 15, 16. I never thought I would make it to 20 at all. I always thought I would be dead before that. Now I'm almost 22, sober. I was a really bad alcoholic, like drinking all day, every day. And it wasn't like just beer either. It was like hard liquor every day, all day. That's it. I would just wake up, drink, go to sleep, wake up, drink, go to sleep, drink. And then I got pregnant. And because of that, I was able to get sober. And my son truly did change my life. It was a while ago, but I was talking to one of my cousins and I was telling him, like, I'm so grateful to be able to have a kid of my own, because I may not have ever had a mom really, but I'm able to be one. And in ways that's hard, being a mom when you've never been one, but at the same time, it's like, I know that I'm ready to make all those memories that I missed out on in my childhood with him.
And he's 4 years old.
Yeah, he'll be 4 in November. So that's really looking at him and like thinking back on how that's how old I was when I watched all this happen. It really hurts me. I don't know how you could do something like that in general, but in front of a child, that's crazy right there. That's heartless, like heartbreaking. Like, I don't know. Just looking into my son's eyes, I could never imagine like subjecting him to anything like that. I mean, I get like things happen, like somebody could run in and like do something like that, but like I'd fight for my life. I would fight for his life, not even mine. I think that's what my mom did for me, honestly. She took it so I didn't have to. I really believe that, because with knowing what I do now is how he said God told him to kill everybody he'd done wrong. I think she knew just deep down if it wasn't gonna be her, it was gonna be me, so she just let it happen. I think that's why she didn't fight, because I remember she didn't fight at all. She just stood there, she didn't move. I think she knew if she tried, it would be worse for both of us. The last thing I ever heard her say was that she loved me. I will never forget that. If there's anybody out there going through something similar, I just want you to know that it does and it will get better. It might take time and it will take a lot of fighting and a lot of strength and a lot of courage and a lot of giving everything you have, every ounce, every bit of everything, but you will get there. It will take time, but it'll be better than you've ever imagined once you get on the other side. I promise you, it will get better. It will get better. It always does. It always gets worse before it gets better, and that is something I have definitely learned in my life.